Well, Atlanta City Council is looking to do its own crackdown on immigration customs and enforcement facilities, along with operations.
The council looking to address the issues tomorrow. Let's get to Atlanta News First. Alani Latang live outside of City Hall tonight with all the opinions behind this. Alani?
Right. So city council members are saying that they're concerned for infrastructure and also about constitutional rights of these immigrants. But also there are many people that are in agreement with the city, but also there are some that says this could cause more confusion and even distrust between police officers, ICE, and the city. Several Atlanta City Council members looking to set boundaries with immigration customs and enforcement in the city.
It's a step in the right direction.
Kimberly Deemer is with 5051 Georgia, an accountability and transparency nonprofit.
I'm standing up and speaking up for those who cannot speak for themselves.
The council is looking to act on two resolutions. One, to express opposition to large immigration detention facilities within the city, referencing similar voted oppositions from cities across the country, including the city of South Fulton and Oakwood in Hall County. And two, the council wants to establish policies for Atlanta police officers to document federal immigration activities in the city when APD is present, including preserving body camera footage. The city citing reasons of transparency and building community trust.
Transparency lends itself to credibility, and credibility is the forward momentum necessary for accountability. And without accountability, then nothing matters when it comes to law enforcement.
Local law enforcement officers always have a challenge when they are doing something other than law enforcement.
Arif Halaby is a former Los Angeles police officer, police academy trainer, now law enforcement analyst. He says it's easier for all officers to stay in their own lane. Adding police documenting ICE could create confusion, even mistrust.
I think that's scary, and you don't want law enforcement officers to have to think twice when their job is to keep an eye out for terrorist activities, as well as just the standard everyday criminal element that walks amongst us.
Both sides of the argument standing firm on their values.
I think a lot of people are afraid to stand up for what they believe is common sense because they don't want to be labeled anything that is, well, antisocial.
I say take some time to self-reflect on what really matters most to you. Is it humanity or is it pride?
The resolution also stating that the city will not use their own resources or property for ICE detention facilities. That city council meeting is tomorrow right here at 1 o'clock. Reporting live downtown outside of Atlanta City Hall, I'm Alani Latang, Atlanta News First.